The rain was hitting my office windows so hard that the glass trembled. I was reviewing numbers on my screen when the door flew open. Erin stumbled inside, drenched, mascara smeared, breath trembling like she had outrun a nightmare. "Marcus. Please." Her voice cracked. Before I could stand, she crossed the room and collapsed into my arms. Her fingers clutched my shirt as if I were the only solid thing left in her life. The scent of rain and panic clung to her. "Erin. What happened?" I whispered, trying to steady her. "I left him." Her lips brushed my collar as she spoke. "I walked out. I could not stay another second." My heart slammed against my ribs. "You should sit. You are freezing." "No. Do not push me away." She lifted her head. Her eyes were red and shining with something desperate. "I came to you. I chose you." The room felt smaller, warmer, dangerous. "Erin, listen to me. This is not a decision you make in the middle of a storm. This storm started months ago." She stepped back only enough to look at me. "You know that. You felt it too." I tried to answer, but her hand found my wrist. Her touch burned. My breath caught. "Erin, you are married." "Not anymore." She shook her head. Wet strands of hair brushed her cheek. "I cannot go home. I cannot see him. I cannot pretend nothing happened." "What did he do?" I asked. She swallowed hard. "I think he knows." Heat shot through my chest. "Knows what?" She blinked. A single tear slid down her jaw. "About us." I stepped back. "There is no us." Her voice softened. "Marcus, look at me." I did. That was my mistake. Her eyes held everything I had tried to ignore for months. Longing. Fear. Something that could ruin us both. "He found my phone," she whispered. "He saw our messages. He saw the late calls. He saw everything. Erin, we never crossed a line. We crossed every line except one." She moved closer again. "And we both know why." I felt her breath on my neck, warm and shaking. My pulse climbed until I could hear it in my ears. "Erin, you cannot stay here," I said, though my voice was weaker than I wanted. "If Grant really thinks something is going on, this could get dangerous." "It already is." She looked toward the glass wall where rain streaked like scratches. "He asked me who I was talking to every night. He kept asking why I smiled when your name showed up. I could not lie anymore. So you ran straight to me. Because you are the only person I trust." Her hand rose to my chest. "Please let me stay. Just tonight. Please." I closed my eyes. I felt her shaking. I felt her breath. I felt the truth pressing between us like a live wire. "All right," I said quietly. "Tonight." Relief poured over her face. She leaned her forehead to my shoulder. My arms wrapped around her before I even decided to move. For a moment, the storm outside felt quieter. Then my phone vibrated on the desk. Erin tensed. I reached for it, and the screen lit up with a single message from an unknown number. "He knows." I stared at it, blood turning cold. Erin whispered, "Marcus. What if he is already on his way?" Her fingers tightened on my arm. And the storm outside the window surged like it agreed. The storm followed us down the highway like it refused to let her go. Lightning flashed over the roof of my car, and every time it lit her face, I saw the same thing. Fear mixed with something I did not want to name. Erin stared out the window, shivering under my jacket. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I know this is insane." "You walked out on your husband," I said. "Insane is a mild word." "I walked to you," she answered. I gripped the wheel tighter. Her voice carried a weight that pressed against my chest. "Why tonight?" I asked. "Because I could not pretend anymore." She turned to me. Rainwater clung to her lashes. "I chose you, Marcus." My heartbeat stumbled. I had wanted to hear those words for months, but not like this. Not with danger wrapped around them. When we reached my loft, the rain hit us sideways. She grabbed my arm as we ran inside. Her fingers were cold, but the moment they touched me, heat shot through my skin. Inside, she set her small suitcase down with a soft thud. "That is all you brought?" I asked. "It is all I need." She stepped closer. "If you want me here." I felt her breath. Warm. Shallow. Unsteady. "Erin," I said, "I do not want to be a mistake you make because you are scared." "I am scared, but not of choosing you." Her hand brushed my chest. "I am scared of everything I found out." My pulse spiked. "What did you find?" She looked at the floor as if choosing her words. My father. Marcus, I overheard him on the phone. Something about accounts being watched. Money missing. People coming to collect. The air in the loft tightened. You think this is connected to your husband? I asked. I think Grant knew something. Or he knew I knew something. Her hands shook as she pushed her damp hair back. And when he saw our messages, he decided it was easier to blame you. She wrapped my oversized shirt around herself and sank onto the couch. She looked impossibly small there, legs tucked under her, her shoulders trembling each time thunder cracked. I sat beside her, close enough to feel her warmth. Erin. If your father is in trouble, we need to call someone. No, she grabbed my hand fast. You cannot involve anyone. You do not understand who he owes. So tell me. She hesitated. Her eyes flicked to the dark window, then back to me. I think someone has been following me. My blood went cold. Who? I do not know. But I felt watched for weeks. Grant brushed it off. Said I was imagining things. And you believed him. I wanted to. She leaned into me, her cheek resting against my shoulder. I wanted someone to tell me I was safe. I wrapped an arm around her before I realized I had moved. She let out a slow breath, one that sounded like she had been holding it for months. My phone buzzed on the table. Erin's head lifted. Is it him? I reached for it. The number was unknown. One message. You are making a mistake, Marcus. She is not who you think she is. My stomach tightened. Erin whispered, what does it say? I looked at her. Her eyes were wide, glassy, pleading. I swallowed the fear tightening my throat. It is nothing, I said. But the truth was already clawing at me. Someone out there knew her. Someone out there knew me. And someone wanted us apart. I woke to the sound of soft rustling, like someone trying not to be heard. The room was dim, early morning light barely touching the edges of the furniture. My pulse tightened. Erin, I said quietly. What are you doing? She froze beside her suitcase on the floor. Her shoulders were tense, her hair falling over her face in messy waves. When she turned, her hands were shaking. I cannot find them. Her voice was thin. I packed them. I know I did. Find what? She opened the suitcase wider. Clothes were shoved aside, but she was not looking at any of them. She pulled out an empty folder and held it up. These. My father's papers. They were here. I sat up. What kind of papers? Her breath hitched as she dropped onto her knees. Financial files. Proof of the money he owed. Proof of who he owed. Marcus, I needed you to see them. I needed someone who could help me understand what he was involved in. I stepped to her and took the folder. The paper edges were crisp. Too crisp. Like someone had replaced the contents recently. You think someone opened your suitcase? I asked. I know someone did. She pressed her palm to her forehead. Those files were the only leverage I had. Without them I cannot protect him. Or myself. The fear in her voice cut straight through me. Look at me, I said. She lifted her eyes slowly. They were filled with panic and something deeper. Something that made my chest tighten. We will figure this out, I said. You are not alone. As I reached for her hand, something on the couch caught my eye. A dark corner of a card, barely visible under the cushion. I pulled it free. A matte black business card. Heavy. Smooth. A single silver letter pressed into the center. The letter was one I had hoped never to see again. Erin's breath left her body. Marcus. I swear that is not mine. I know this symbol, I said. My fingers tightened around the card before I could stop myself. What does it mean? She whispered. It means someone was here, I said. Someone dangerous. Erin's voice trembled. How could anyone get inside? I looked around the loft. Nothing disturbed. No forced entry. No tracks. Whoever left this had been quiet and confident. Erin, I said, you need to tell me who else knew you were leaving. No one. Her voice cracked. I did not even tell myself until I walked out the door. I took a slow breath, trying to settle the rising dread in my gut. She wrapped her arms around herself. I feel sick, she whispered. If they took those papers, then they know I had them. Before I could respond, a loud buzz split the air. Sharp. Sudden. The sound echoed through the loft and rattled her. The front door intercom glowed. Erin stepped back quickly. Marcus. Do not answer that. It is 6 in the morning, I said. Who would be here now? Her face drained of color. Her voice dropped to a terrified whisper. That is not my husband. The buzzer sounded again. Long, insistent. My hand hovered over the intercom button. Erin grabbed my arm with a grip that was desperate and cold. Do not let him in, she said. And the buzzer went silent, leaving a tension so heavy it felt like the room stopped breathing. The knocking hit the apartment like a warning. Sharp. Measured. Too calm for this early hour. I opened the door and the fog from the hallway drifted in like cold fingers brushing my throat. A man stood there in a charcoal coat that looked tailored to hide a weapon. His hair was still wet from the morning mist. His eyes didn't blink. He said my name like he had practiced it. Are you Erin's partner? My breath tightened. She isn't here. He studied my face for a long moment, silent enough that I could hear the hum of the refrigerator behind me. I felt his gaze tracing every lie on my skin. Then he reached into his coat. I flinched. He noticed. He pulled out a sealed envelope and held it between two gloved fingers. My name was pressed into the wax in deep red. For you, he said. What is this? My voice cracked. I hated that it cracked. He stepped back. Tell Erin that Rhett Langford stopped by. That name punched the air from my lungs. A debt collector. Not the kind that cared about money. The kind people whispered about in parking garages. I tried to keep my face still. Why are you looking for her? He almost smiled. She knows why. Then he walked away. No footsteps. Just presence and then absence. I closed the door and locked it twice. My hands shook as I cracked the wax seal. A faint smell of smoke drifted out, like the paper had been near a fire. Before I could pull the photo free, a hand grabbed my wrist. Erin. Her nails dug into my skin. Her chest was rising like she had run from something. Or someone. Do not open that, she said. Her voice was thin, almost breaking. It has my name on it. That doesn't mean it's for you. I pulled my wrist back and the envelope opened in a soft crackle. A single photograph slid out and landed face up on the counter. The room went silent. Erin stared at it like it was a knife. I lifted it with numb fingers. My stomach dropped so hard I felt dizzy. Erin stood in a dark parking lot with a man I had never seen. He had his hand on her waist. Their faces were close. Too close. The timestamp glowed at the bottom. A night she said she had stayed home. Crying. With me. Erin. What is this? She shook her head fast, hair falling into her face. It's not what it looks like. You told me you were home. I was. I swear I was. Her voice cracked. She stepped closer and gripped the collar of my shirt. Please listen. Who is he? I can't tell you. She swallowed. Tears filled her eyes but she tried to blink them back. If I do, you'll get pulled into something you cannot handle. You're already pulling me into it. She pressed her forehead to my collarbone. I felt her tremble. Felt her breath warm under my jaw. Felt my resolve slipping. I need you to believe me, she whispered. I need you on my side. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Her hands were desperate and soft against my chest. Every instinct dragged me toward her. But the man in the photo had been close enough to kiss her. Close enough to know something I didn't. I lifted her chin so she had to look at me. Why did Rhett Langford come to our door? Her breath hitched. Her eyes widened with a mix of fear and guilt. You weren't supposed to see that photo, she said. Why? She stepped back like she was afraid to touch me. Because it isn't meant to expose me. Her voice dropped. It's meant to warn you. My pulse spiked. Warn me about what? She closed her eyes. The man in that photo. He isn't after me. She opened them. Her voice broke. He is after you. Erin paced behind me while the computer hummed. Her breaths were uneven. I felt each one on the back of my neck like faint warnings. I need to know everything, I said. Start with your father. She stopped moving. The silence felt like glass about to crack. My father's empire was fake, she said. Every project, every bid, every contract. All of it built on loans from people who never write anything down. People who never forget. I turned in my chair. He owed them. He died before he could pay. Her hands twisted together. They came to me instead. Rhett Langford. And others, she whispered. The monitor cast a cold glow as I opened her father's files. The data loaded slow, like it didn't want to be seen. Erin hovered close, shoulder brushing mine. I could smell rain on her clothes. Numbers flooded the screen. Fraud. Shell companies. Debt spirals. Erin leaned in. Her voice dropped. Do you see why they want me? I scrolled deeper. A folder blinked at me. Wexler 2019. My heartbeat shifted. No. It can't be. What is it? I opened it, fingers stiff. The same rows of numbers. The same false invoices. The same offshore accounts. I had seen all of it years ago in a case I promised myself to never touch again. My voice came out thin. I worked a case tied to these lenders. It got buried. They warned me to walk away or end up in the ground with the others. Erin's eyes widened. You never told me that. I didn't want you mixed into it. Her hand pressed to my shoulder. Warm. Trembling. You were already mixed into mine. I looked up at her. Why did you really come to me that day? You said you just needed a consultation. Her lips parted. Fear flickered through her eyes. Because I knew who you were. My stomach tightened. You knew me. I knew your reputation, she said. I knew you handled the Wexler case. I knew what it cost you. I needed someone who wouldn't run when things got dark. Erin. I stood. She stepped back but didn't look away. You should have told me. If I had, you would have pushed me out the door, she whispered. And I couldn't risk that. I needed you to stay. The air between us shifted. Heavy. Charged. She reached for me, fingertips brushing my wrist. I was afraid you would see me the way everyone else does, she said. A problem. A burden. My father's shadow. I caught her hand before she could pull away. I never saw you like that. Her breath caught. For a moment the world felt still, wrapped in the glow of old secrets. Then the office door slammed. The sound ricocheted through the room. Erin jerked away from me. A man filled the doorway. Tall. Immaculate suit. A calmness that felt sharp enough to cut. Grant West. Her husband. He stepped inside with a confidence that tasted like danger. His eyes moved from me to Erin, then to our hands, still too close. His smile was small. Controlled. Wrong. So this is where you run when I am not enough, he said. Erin whispered his name like she was praying. Grant. He shut the door behind him. The lock clicked. I felt the temperature drop. Grant's gaze pinned me. We need to talk. All three of us. Erin's fingers curled around my sleeve. Her voice shook. Marcus, please do not leave me. Grant closed the distance between us before I could move. His cologne mixed with the scent of cold rain on his coat. Erin tightened her grip on my arm, fingers digging into my sleeve. Grant's voice stayed soft. Too soft. Relax. I am not here to fight. I kept my stance firm. Then say what you came for. He studied me with steady, unreadable eyes. You have a reputation for surviving things that should have ruined you. Impressive. Rare. Erin stepped between us. Grant, stop. He ignored her. You buried your past well. But I dug it back up in one night. My pulse kicked once, hard. You think I am afraid of you. I think you understand consequences, he said. So here is my offer. Walk away from her. Today. No questions. No goodbyes. And I forget everything I learned. Erin's voice cracked. I am not going with you. Of course you say that, Grant said with a bored sigh. You always lie when you are scared. Her fingers trembled against me. I pulled her slightly behind my shoulder. Grant leaned in, close enough that I felt his breath on my jaw. Ask her why she really chose you. I took a step forward. Get out. He straightened, unfazed. I am giving you two a chance to avoid a very messy end. Erin's voice shook. Grant, please leave. He smiled like he had already won. Think about my offer, Marcus. Your past is flimsy. One match and it burns. He walked out without a backward glance. The door clicked shut. Erin collapsed into me. Her body shook against my chest. Do not believe him. Please. I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her close. Her hair brushed my lips. Her breath hitched in little broken sounds. Erin, look at me. She lifted her face, eyes rimmed red. I am not going back to him. I know. I swear I never lied to you. I held her tighter. Then tell me what he meant. Why would he say you chose me for a reason? She froze. Her hands slid away from mine. Silence spilled into the room like cold water. Erin, I said quietly. Tell me. I cannot, she whispered. Cannot or will not. She shook her head, tears falling again. If I tell you, you will hate me. My chest hurt in a way I could not hide. I need the truth. Not later. Now. She stepped back, arms wrapped around herself. I am scared. So am I. Her knees buckled. I caught her before she hit the ground. Her body trembled in my arms as she sobbed into my shoulder. I carried her to my room, tucking her beneath the covers. Her hand clung to mine until sleep dragged her under. I sat beside her, listening to her breathing settle. Every inhale brushed against my ribs like a promise I was not sure I could keep. When she finally slept, I returned to the office. The computer screen still glowed with her father's files. I scrolled through folder after folder, searching for anything that could explain Grant's confidence. A locked document blinked at the bottom of the directory. An old encryption pattern. One I recognized from years ago. I bypassed it. The file opened. A single line of text sat in the center of the screen. My name. Typed by her father. Dated before he died. I stared at the glowing screen while the city's early light spilled across my desk. Erin's father had saved a file with my name on it. Not a note. Not a warning. A detailed record of an investigation I conducted 5 years ago. Work from a past life I had buried so deep I never expected it to surface again. Footsteps creaked behind me. Marcus. Her voice was small, sleepy, but as soon as she saw the screen, she froze. The blanket slipped from her shoulders. You opened it. I kept my eyes on the documents. How did he get access to this? These files were sealed. She swallowed, fingers twisting in the blanket. I did not know he kept that. I swear. I turned toward her slowly. Your father tracked me. Why? Fear flickered across her face like a shadow. I need a minute. No. You have had minutes. You have had days. Talk. She took a shaky breath and stepped closer. Her bare feet patted across the floor. He told me there was a man who could ruin everything. Someone who knew too much. Someone dangerous to our family. I felt my pulse throb in my jaw. He meant me. Her eyes darted away. He described someone calm. Smart. Quiet. Someone with a past he did not want near his business. Say it, Erin. She met my eyes again, full of guilt. Yes. He meant you. I pushed away from the desk. The chair scraped loudly. She flinched. So you chose me because your father warned you about me? No, she rushed forward, grabbing my arm. I chose you because you were the only person who ever looked at me like I was more than his daughter or Grant's wife. Then why hide this? Because I was scared you would leave if you knew how our lives crossed before we ever met. I felt her fingers shaking against my skin. Warm. Desperate. Her breath brushed my shoulder as she leaned in. Please believe me. Before I could answer, glass exploded behind us. A brick crashed across the floor, scattering shards everywhere. I pulled Erin behind me instinctively. She gasped and clutched my back. I crouched and grabbed the brick. A note was tied around it with rough twine. I untied it and read the message. You were warned. Step away. Erin's nails dug into my shirt. Marcus, this is escalating too fast. Someone is watching us. I looked at the window, the street below, the rooftops across the block. Whoever threw that brick had vanished. Her voice trembled. What do we do? I turned to her. Her face was inches from mine, breath unsteady, eyes wide with fear and something deeper. Something she refused to say. I held up the note. Someone knows I am involved in this. They know you are here. Her lips parted. I am not leaving. And I am not safe for you. My chest tightened. Maybe Grant was right. Maybe you are hiding something bigger than your father's debts. She stepped closer until her forehead almost touched mine. Ask me anything. I will tell you. I let out a slow breath. Fine. Her fingers stilled on my arm. Erin, I said, voice low and sharp, why did you pick me? Her eyes filled instantly. And she whispered something so soft I almost missed it. Because you were the only one he was afraid of. Erin stood in the middle of my loft with her hands trembling at her sides. Rain streaked the window behind her in thin silver lines. I could taste the salt of her fear in the air. I need to tell you the rest, she whispered. I am listening. My voice sounded colder than I meant. She stepped closer, but I did not move. When I first came to you, it was not an accident. My stomach tightened. Say it clearly. My father told me you were the only one smart enough to trace his debts. Or erase them. He said you were the only person he could not control. The words hit like a fist to my chest. So you came to use me. At first. Her voice cracked. But I did not mean to fall for you. Something inside me snapped. I turned away before the heat behind my eyes could show. The floor creaked as I stepped toward the kitchen. Her footsteps followed, hesitant. Marcus, look at me. I kept my back to her. I warned you not to lie to me. I know. And I am trying to fix that now. You picked me because I was useful. My hands tightened around the counter edge. Not because of anything real. That is not true. I turned then. Her face was streaked with tears. Everything between us is built on your secrets. Every moment. Every touch. Every time you said you trusted me. She swallowed. I am sorry. Sorry does not undo betrayal. She took another step. Let me explain why I stayed. Why I chose you after everything changed. I cannot hear that right now. Her breath hitched. Please. I shook my head. The space between us felt like a storm ready to break. A sudden metallic click sounded behind me. I spun. Rhett Langford stood inside my loft. No noise. No warning. His charcoal coat dripped rain onto my floor. Erin gasped. How did you get in here? Rhett ignored her. His calm gaze locked on me. We have a problem. My voice hardened. Start talking. He placed a folder on the table. Your involvement with Erin's father is not a secret anymore. I am not involved with him. You are now. Rhett opened the folder. Inside were satellite images, timestamps, financial flags. He is gone. Vanished for 72 hours. Erin stepped forward. Missing? Rhett nodded once. And the people he borrowed from believe Marcus helped hide him. A slow pulse of dread rolled through my spine. Why would they think that? Because you were the last person accessing his files. Because someone leaked your name. Rhett's eyes shifted to Erin. And because she ran straight to you. Erin's breath faltered. I did not tell anyone. Someone did, Rhett said. And they are already moving. How soon? I asked. Soon enough that you should not sleep here again, Rhett said. Both of you are targets now. Erin grabbed my arm, fingers cold. Marcus, what do we do? Her touch sent a confusing jolt through me. Pain, anger, longing, all tangled together. Rhett snapped the folder shut. You need to decide something quickly. I looked at Erin. She looked back, eyes pleading, hoping for forgiveness I did not have yet. Rhett's voice cut through the silence. Marcus. Are you protecting her or handing her over? Erin stiffened beside me. And I realized I had to choose. Rhett pushed the flash drive into my palm the moment he barged in. His chest rose and fell like he had sprinted through the entire city. It was hidden behind a metal panel, he said. Your name was written on it. My stomach tightened. Mine. Why mine? You should watch it, he said. His voice dropped. With her. Erin sat on the edge of my couch. Her hands were locked together so tightly her knuckles were white. She didn't look up when I approached the laptop. I could feel the distance between us like a cold draft. I plugged in the flash drive. The screen flickered. Then a face appeared. Her father. His beard was overgrown, his eyes red, his voice hoarse like he had been running from ghosts. Erin. If you are seeing this, I have failed you. He paused, then looked straight at the camera. And to you, Marcus. I owe the greatest apology. My heart slammed in my ribs. Why is he talking to me? Erin finally lifted her gaze. Her eyes were hesitant. I didn't know he knew you. The video continued. They will come for you. Both of you. Marcus crossed them years ago without knowing. The same syndicate I owe. They marked him. I told Erin to stay close to him. Not to use him. To protect him. Erin covered her mouth. A tremor ran through her whole body. Her father leaned forward in the frame. Marcus. You saved people I could not. They hate you for it. I thought if Erin stayed by your side, they would not risk a move. She could watch your back in ways I could not. The recording glitched for a second. Rhett cursed under his breath. Erin whispered, I never meant to hurt you. I swear. I only learned the truth later. Her voice cracked. Tears slid down her face without a sound. I felt something collapse in me. Not trust. Not anger. Something more fragile. Her father continued. Erin. You must tell him the rest. Tell him who is after him. Do not run anymore. Static. Then darkness. The video ended. The room felt too quiet. Too still. I could hear the faint buzz of the ceiling lights and Erin's shaky breath. I closed the laptop slowly. Tell me the rest. Erin shook her head. I tried. Every time I tried, something worse happened. They have eyes everywhere. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I should have told you. I tried to fix it on my own. I thought I could keep you out of it. Rhett stepped closer. We need to move. If the warehouse was compromised enough for us to find that drive, someone else could have been there. Erin grabbed my hand. Please believe me. I didn't betray you. I was trying to save you. Her fingers were cold. I could feel her pulse racing through her palm. I opened my mouth to answer. The power cut off. Total darkness swallowed us. Erin gasped. The hum of the lights vanished. The street noise outside died. An eerie silence pressed against my ears. Rhett's voice snapped through the dark. Get down. Before I could react, the building trembled. A violent shockwave hit the front of my apartment. The floor shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Then a thunderous crack. Not thunder. Not an accident. An explosion. The front door blew inward with a metallic scream. Shards of wood and metal slammed into the hallway. Erin screamed my name. Rhett tackled us both to the ground. Boots pounded against the shards of my shattered door. Multiple footsteps. Fast. Determined. Coming for me. Coming for us. And I realized one thing with a cold certainty as the darkness pulsed around us. Her father had been right. They had finally come. Smoke clawed at my lungs as masked men burst into the loft. Wood splintered under their feet. The smell of burning paper stung my nose. I shoved Erin behind me, her hands clutching my jacket, shaking. Do not let go, she whispered, breath hot against my ear. I won't, I said, though every instinct screamed to fight and flee at once. Rhett moved like a shadow, intercepting the first of the intruders. Metal clanged, fists hit bodies. I grabbed a fire extinguisher and swung it blindly, adrenaline making my arms strong. Erin pressed her face to my chest. I could feel every tremor, every pulse. Marcus, Not now, I cut her off. We survive first. Smoke thickened. Visibility dropped. Sirens wailed in the distance, but they were too far. No one could help us. Only us. We scrambled to the stairwell, each step sending splinters under our feet. Her hand in mine burned like fire. Faster, I urged. Her lungs gasped with each step. We hit the alley. Cold rain slicked the bricks. Heart pounding, I pulled her forward. The getaway car waited, headlights cutting shadows across the walls. Relief rushed me for 1 second. Then I froze. Grant West. Lean, immaculately dressed, standing beside the car. His presence was a statement. Calm. Controlled. Dangerous. Erin, he said softly. Come with me. You can have safety. Freedom from your father's debts. Money. Everything you could ever want. Her hands froze in mine. Her eyes darted between me and him. I saw the weight of the decision in her trembling shoulders, the tears glinting in the rain. You don't have to stay here and fight for me, I said, voice breaking. You can leave all of this behind. Grant smiled faintly. She only has to step out of the rain and step into a life without fear. Erin's lips quivered. Marcus, Do not, I warned. Do not tell me you are thinking of this. Not after everything. She flinched at the words. Her hand squeezed mine, her tears wetting my jacket. I never wanted it to be like this. You are my world, I said, voice low, harsh. Every risk, every danger, every secret. I cannot survive losing you now. Her breath hitched. She looked at Grant again. Then back at me. The rain soaked her hair, clinging to her cheeks. Her eyes were a battlefield of love, fear, and loyalty. I thought she would run into my arms. I thought she would fight with me. I thought we would escape together. Instead, she stepped back. Not toward me. My chest hollowed. Every heartbeat slammed into emptiness. Grant's hand extended, gentle, persuasive. You do not need to choose pain. Take what is offered. Erin swallowed. Her lips pressed together, shaking. She glanced at me one last time. Something unspoken passed between us. Regret. Love. Sorrow. Then she moved toward him. I stood frozen, rain soaking through my jacket, smoke stinging my lungs. My heart shattered in slow, jagged pieces. Rhett barked at me to move. But I could not. I watched her go. And I realized some choices are made for survival. Some choices cost everything. And she had chosen. The alley smelled of rain and fire. My hands were empty. My heart was not. And I knew this was not the end. It was the beginning of a war.